Hello everyone, Pastor George here for our Tuesday Theolog, and today I wanted to talk about something that happened while I was gone in the news that kind of circulated around the news cycle and certainly through Twitter. And this is a thing that's kind of near and dear to my heart in some ways, but is interesting because of the backlash that it caused. And I was kind of surprised by that backlash, so we'll get into it. While I was gone on January 6th, which was the Sunday that I wasn't preaching, which is the what's that holiday? This is why everyone accuses me of being a crypto Catholic, but I can't even remember all these. Epiphany. There you go. So when Epiphany happened, right, the Pope put out this statement. And he said, well, here's the headline from the New York Times. So you guys, I'll just put it up here. Pope scolds couples who choose pets over kids. Expressing concern about global birth rates, Francis said such couples were acting in a selfish way that diminished humanity. And he's speaking in an audience at the Vatican. And this is what he actually said. The Times quotes him. It says, people who have pets instead of children, the Pope said, were being selfish, exhibiting a denial of fatherhood or motherhood that diminishes us. It takes away our humanity. Yes, dogs and cats can take the place of children, Francis said, weighing out the harsh consequences of a childless future, including the inevitable drying up of pension plans. Yes, it's funny, I understand, but it is the reality. So here's the interesting thing. So some of you might remember that I preached a sermon about pets maybe 1 or 2 years ago, I think. And I have no problem with animals in general, right? Okay. But I do have a problem with a lot of the pedestal that people put their pets on. And so when I saw this headline, I went, oh, that's really good. He's finally, that I agree with him on this issue that it is wrong to put pets on the same pedestal as children or whatever. And that's obvious to me because humans are made in the image of God, and giving that status to animals, which aren't, and really, in all honesty, in all philosophical senses, can't think, feel, or emote the way that humans can, as much as we like to push that on them. Equating these two things are not the same, right? And I will be the first to tell you that if there's any downfall of our society, it started when people started dressing their dogs up. So I'm on the Pope's side, except for the reasoning he gives. So here's the interesting thing where I think that this is obviously more Catholic doctrine and less that I think is based on the Bible. So the Pope's big thing is that he thinks that people should be having kids because of a demographic winter, right, is another thing he calls it. Or this idea that the older generations won't be supported because there aren't young people below them. And that might be a good economic reason, right? There are countries in Europe and in Asia, like Japan right now, that are really feeling that, right? Because they have an aged population and no one below them to take care of them. I've been told that this is also kind of part of the nursing shortage in the United States, is that people are living longer and living through more diseases, and there aren't enough younger people to be able to take care of them, or not enough young people interested in taking care of them and stuff like that, right? So that's the Pope's argument. But my problem with that is that it isn't a very biblical argument. Like, sure, it's about caring for people, but it sounds very economic, right? So one of the reasons that and I think I've answered this question on the channel before, but a lot of people have come to ask me the question, should a Christian have children, right? Is it required that a Christian couple have children? And my answer to that is it kind of depends. So I would not say it is a required thing, right? Because, of course, many couples are unable to have children for various reasons. But I do think that, speaking of family, which is what our current project, our current Christian education after Sundays is on, is that we really need to start seeing the church as a family. So the idea is that if you do not have children, then you take the children in the church and treat them as though they were your own, right? Which means helping to support them, loving them, right? Giving them rides, things like that. That's important. So the problem is the Pope is correctly identifying a trend in a lot of the world right now when it comes to not having children. Except that trend, I would say, is based more on selfishness and personal fulfillment, and not something we have to be worried about economically. I guess we can be, but that shouldn't be our primary motive. Because as Christians, we should be looking at the souls of people and realize that a lot of people who choose childless ways of living are doing so out of selfish reasons. It has nothing to do with being a man or a woman or whatever. It's not like women are more to blame or men are more to blame. It's all around, right? And so, even if you choose to be childless, basically you should be taking all that time and effort that you took and pouring it in to children at the church, right? You can't get away from children. That's not an option in the Christian life, because the Christian life is one that is lived in a community of faith, a family of God, right? So when we baptize children and welcome them in the covenant, those are your kids. Whether you want them or not, it doesn't matter, because when Jesus was on the cross and he was talking to his mother and to the beloved disciple, John, he told them both, son, this is your mother, mother, this is your son, right? He completely rewrote family at the cross. And so we need to remember that, because that is the family that truly matters. So people can certainly not have children and things like that, but Christians need to really understand that option is you might not have biological children, but you're going to have children no matter what. The other part of this that I thought was funny is people started freaking out about this, right? All these people on Twitter and various news commentators and stuff like that, as though this should be a surprise. The Catholic Church is very pro-family. I think this is something that you would know if you knew a lot about them. So people were really shocked that Pope Francis said this, but I don't know why you would be. Either way, that's something to ponder today, and I will see you guys tomorrow for our Bible study recap, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Peace out.